In this video, we're going to talk about food in Mobile, Alabama, but specifically food in downtown Mobile. So I'm standing here with Chris Andrews, the founder and owner of Bienville Bites Food Tour. I know that's a mouthful, but he is going to give us a grand tour of several places around Mobile, give us some of the history, and we're going to talk about all things related to food in Mobile, Alabama. So let's dive in. Hey, my name is Jeff Jones with Keller Williams right here in the beautiful but chilly city of Mobile, Alabama today. And I absolutely love giving tours and details and all the things you could ever want to know about the city of Mobile. Well, today we're going to talk about a lot of things related to food, but one of my favorite things are when people give me a phone call and I look down at my phone and it's a number I don't recognize, and it's one of you who have questions about all things Mobile. Well, that's what I'm here for. And specifically in this video, if you click the link below, we're gonna have a link that you can learn about all things Mobile. There is a free city guide put out by the Mobile Chamber of Commerce. You can grab the details below, but also, well, we're talking about food today, and I just recorded a podcast with Chris Andrews, and you can click that link below. So if you like podcasts, you can check that out as well, but I can't wait to get started. We're about to talk about some food. So as we're on our way to the first destination, the Ruby Slipper, Chris said there was a pretty cool story about this archway that's actually right behind the building. So tell us a little bit about that history.
Yeah, so this archway that you see right here dates back from the 1850s when this building was built. Wow. And this is one of the oldest buildings in Mobile. This is the Staples Pake building. This side of the archway that we're on, this is actually where they would park their horses, and cotton brokers that worked in this building would park their horses here. So it's really neat. A lot of the history that's here in this building.
And so just right behind the Ruby Slipper, they could, well, obviously the Ruby Slipper wasn't in existence back then, but I can imagine, I mean, we're right here, we're directly across the street from the RSA Tower. And that's one of the cool things about the Bienville Bites Food Tour is you're not just getting details on food, but you're actually getting a lot of history surrounding Mobile, because it is one of the oldest cities in the entire United States. I mean, what is it, 1700?
That's right, 1702.
1702, so that's pretty cool. Well, let's walk down here for the Bienville Bites, I guess, one of the stops on the tour, and that's the cool thing about this is there's several stops. Now, how many restaurants do you typically visit?
Typically 5 to 7 stops on a 3-hour tour.
Okay, so that spans over about 3 hours.
3 hours, yep.
Okay, so I can imagine you get pretty full, but they're limited, so you just have little samples.
That's right. Yeah, you're getting a smaller size portion of one of their signature dishes.
Okay, and one of the other things, now the Ruby Slipper, so my wife and I have eaten there twice, and both times it's whenever we would spend the night at the Battle House Hotel, which is really an iconic hotel in Mobile. Lots of folks love to stay there. It's got this incredible spa, but if you stay there, then you can just walk like a block or two down the street, go to the Ruby Slipper. And what are some of the things that they're known for?
Well, they're most known for their breakfast and their brunch. It's a great breakfast and brunch spot. You're going to get chicken and waffles. You're going to get the pancakes, the fried green tomatoes are a can't miss. The buttermilk biscuits they make each day inside.
That is incredible.
Phenomenal.
I've
they
had
come
that.
with a cane syrup butter. You can't beat it. Best biscuits in town.
And their bacon is amazing.
Yes, can't forget the bacon.
Yeah. So you have to absolutely stop in the Ruby Slipper every time you get a chance. So one of the things you're going to see on the tour, obviously you're going to be walking on the tour, but if you'll notice right behind us there's this banner, and these are actually professional athletes that are all from Mobile, and Mobile is the home of the Senior Bowl. So there's a sign right around the corner, and you can kind of check out, this is like the home office, and the Senior Bowl is actually taking place. It's this weekend, right?
That's right.
Okay, so this weekend, it's like all these senior players that are college players from around the country, they convene in Mobile, they practice for like a week, and this is a hot spot for NFL scouts where they all come here. So you never know what you're gonna see, but that's a little unknown fact about Mobile. This is where the Senior Bowl is, and a lot of amazing things happen right here.
Yep.
Okay, so in continuing our tour, we just keep walking down the street, and we're actually at the Peanut Shop. Now, I've heard about this place for years and years and years. I remember as a kid hearing about this place, and you don't just hear about it, but you smell it. So way down the street, you can smell the peanuts. So tell us a little bit about this place and why it is unique to Mobile, and why everybody needs to stop in.
The A&M Peanut Shop, like you mentioned, it is a place that generations of Mobilians have been coming to. It started here in 1947. It was originally a Planters peanut chain of stores they had around the country.
Really?
A longtime store manager bought the franchise in 1963 and opened the A&M Peanut Shop. Now his name was Alfred and his wife's name was Mary. So that's where the name A&M comes from.
Okay, I've always wanted to know this random A&M. Well, now we know.
What's really cool, like you mentioned, it's very nostalgic, but the smell that you smell is coming from a 120-year-old roaster that's inside. And it's roasting the peanuts right now as we're standing here, roast the peanuts daily. It's hard to walk by here when that thing is going.
It is.
And not stop.
Now, as far as the tour is concerned, like, can you give us a little insight? Like, what are they gonna get on the tour?
We usually get a small cup of their best sellers. So that's peanuts, pecans, cashew, cheese straw, all that in a small cup.
Okay, so if you're in Mobile and you participate in the Bienville Bites Food Tour, you're gonna get to go to the peanut shop and hear about this amazing story, the history behind it, and get a sample of what makes it so great. Okay, so we continue the tour, walk down the street, and we came to the Three Georges candy shop. And Chris and I were talking about how old this place is, so tell us a little bit about that.
This is the oldest place to eat or drink in Mobile. Three Georges opened up in 1917 here in downtown Mobile. And originally owned by 3 Greek immigrants, all by the name George.
Okay.
And they had moved here to Mobile and were business owners and entrepreneurs wanting to start a business here in downtown Mobile. They had a little bit of a dispute originally about what to have inside their store. One of the Georges wanted to have a sandwich shop, one of them wanted to have chocolate and candy, and the other wanted to have a soda fountain shop. And so while they fumbled around with these ideas, eventually their wives sat them down and said, you know what, just have all 3 in one since you can't decide. And that's what they ended up doing, and it's worked out well for them. That's what they still do here. Now, most known for their chocolate and candy, but they do still serve all 3 of those.
Well, that's what I was gonna say. When I think of this place, I always think of chocolate and candy, but as far as the tour is concerned, now what kind of samples are they going to get?
We're going to get one of their fresh made pralines, and it's a praline, a 100-year-old recipe from the Three Georges. It's made, the pralines are still made on the same copper pot that they used 100 years ago. They're cooled on the same Greek slabs that they cooled the chocolate on for over 100 years. So it's really, really cool to be a part of eating something that's so old and such a traditional recipe.
So if you're ever walking in downtown Mobile, this is an absolute must. So I'm very thankful we were able to step inside because it is a little windy outside, but this restaurant is actually called Squid Inc. Yes, a very unique name. And Chris was just telling me about this place and why it's special. And so I was really intrigued about the connection with Panini Pete. And so give us a little insight into what makes this place special.
Yeah, sure. So Squid Inc. is owned by our local celebrity chef here in Mobile. His name's Panini Pete. He founded Panini Pete's restaurant over in Fairhope, 2006. Moved over here to Mobile, and this was a Panini Pete's location for a while. It was a great breakfast and brunch, lunch spot. But he decided, since a lot of the nightlife and all is coming here to this part of downtown Mobile, to transition to a more of a dinner place. So he transitioned to Squid Inc. And so they do a great job with burgers and sandwiches and do a lot of things. What's really cool to me though is they put Panini Pete is a big history buff, as I am, and he puts a lot of history into Mobile, into the food here. So you'll have dishes that that go back to our French and British and Spanish heritage that makes Panini Pete a really cool spot.
So I haven't actually been to the restaurant, I know, shame on me, but my daughter has been and she said it was amazing. She said, Dad, you have to go. So I'm going to be adding it on my list, but this is also one of the stops on the tour, right?
It is, we do. We come here and we have the fried calamari and the paella fritters. Paella, another dish that's kind of known in Spain. So it kind of represents some of our Spanish heritage too. So, but yeah, you got to come back. You got to get the Cadillac burger.
Got to do it. It is definitely on the list. Yep. So standing outside this mural that's pretty popular with guests from out of town. They'll come by and take pictures, but this mural is across the street from the Wintzell's Oyster House. Now I was a little confused about the history and how long it's been around and as far as locations. So Chris and I were talking about it. Tell me a little bit about the history of Wintzell's and what they do that's special, really sets them apart.
So Wintzell's Oyster House started right here in 1938. J. Oliver Wintzell opened up a 6-stool oyster bar. And of course they've grown and expanded over time, and oysters, it's one of the most signature. It's the signature dish of Mobile.
Absolutely, absolutely. And the thing is, now they have a contest, right?
They do, an oyster eating contest. Now the record is 421 oysters in 1 hour.
Raw oysters, right?
So raw oysters, okay. Yep.
Well, as you can tell, this is downtown Mobile, this is busy. When you mention raw oysters in 1 hour, I'm gonna pass on that, but it's really popular. A lot of folks come down here, especially during Mardi Gras, and that's where we are right now. First week of February, Mardi Gras is in full swing, lots of folks out walking around. So if you come downtown, you can hang out at this mural, get your picture taken, go eat at the iconic Wintzell's Oyster House, and try some of those raw oysters if you're from out of town, never tried that. I actually have never tried one. It's on my list, but if you get to do the Bienville Bites food tour, this is one of the stops.
It is.
And it's a highlight.
Yep.
So one of my favorite stops on the tour has got to be Moe's Original Barbecue. And this place is pretty special. And you were talking about on the podcast, you said something about the chicken wings were really good.
Oh yeah, you got to come here and get the chicken wings and get the white Alabama barbecue sauce it serves. It's the best chicken wings in Mobile, no doubt about it.
So I definitely have to go, but this is another stop on the tour, right?
Yeah, it is. Yep. Now what's interesting about this building, this is a former Lincoln Mercury dealership. An old car dealership. So when you go inside and you see the back room, that's the old showroom floor. It's really cool. Now they fit a lot of people in here, and they do a lot. They go through a lot of barbecue each day.
So they can also do large groups. I've heard about class reunions, doing things down here. But as far as the tour is concerned, now what are you going to get on the tour?
You're going to get, of course, those chicken wings with some of that white Alabama barbecue sauce, and you're also going to get some a rib. And with some of their signature barbecue sauce on that as well.
So it looks like it's about lunchtime, so I think this is going to be in our schedule for later today.
Yep.
So here we are at the final stop of the Bienville Bites food tour at Beignet, and this place has quite a story. Of course, I'm friends with the owners, and they have told me that story. It's pretty amazing. It's a little bit too long for this video. You'll have to check it out online, but their beignets are absolutely amazing. And Chris, tell me a little bit, there's this competition between New Orleans and Mobile with the beignets, but talk to me a little bit about that.
I think what distinguishes Mobile from some of those places you get in New Orleans are the homemade syrups.
Yes.
And not that it needs any more sugar already, but you put some of that syrup on there, especially I'm a fan of the buttercream. You put that buttercream syrup on there, and man, that's a game changer.
Well, and think about that. You're on this tour, it's about 3 hours, you've been to many places, and you get to end up here and have this incredible dessert, and it truly is incredible. And the thing is, it's just the perfect amount, and oftentimes I'll come down here, late at night, I'm like, oh, I just need that late night snack, and it is absolutely amazing. But hey, that's it, folks. I wanted to give you a tour of all things Mobile when it comes to food, and I thought, what a better way than to connect with Chris Andrews with the Bienville Bites food tour. So if you're considering coming down to Mobile, you're kind of deciding, do I want to come here? Well, let me tell you, if you make it here, you have to do this. Check out his website. You can find all the details online. But again, I just want to say thank you so much for watching this video. Now don't forget to like and subscribe, because we're always dropping new videos about all things Mobile, and I cannot wait for the next video.